Hey everyone, welcome to another Junxions development progress video. This one is going to be about surface lift. It's gonna be a little bit more boring compared to the previous ones, but there's gonna be a funny bit at the end. So let's get straight into it. So previously, this is how an intersection would look. And by that I specifically mean the walkways, which are about 10 centimeters higher than the lanes. And this was not editable, right? So this was the only option how the road could look. So when we started adding bike lanes, we needed to figure out whether to put them at the same level as walkways or at the same level as lanes. But also there were other requests, for example, raised crossings, either for railways or pedestrians, that made us realize that we will have to make the lift of these surfaces adjustable. So that's exactly what we did. So let's move a little further to this other intersection. And as you can see, I've manually changed the lift of walkways by about 40 centimeters higher, right? So that's only for you to see better the difference between these two surfaces. And because all of these roads are editable and can have different lifts, we needed to figure out how to connect them without it looking broken. So let's see. Let's build another road. This time this road will be almost level. Let's connect it here. And as you can see the way it works, the surfaces which are at the wrong level will be either raised or lowered. You can of course turn this functionality off by clicking here. And now you can handle these surface height differences yourself inside the intersection. We'll take a look at that later, but for now, let's turn it back on. And another side effect of this functionality is that now you can manually increase the height of the entire intersection by clicking here. So let's move it to 40 centimeters. And now as you can see, the walkways and lanes are flush with each other, which in the real world is commonly used when you want the vehicles to slow down. The way the game determines the default lift inside of an intersection when there are multiple roads with different lifts connecting to it is it just calculates the average. So let's destroy these 3 roads and let's connect another one like this, and let's decrease the lift that we've previously set. And now you can see that this is the one that gets adjusted to the correct height. So let's get to some real world examples that you can build with this. First of all, this is a raised crossing. As you can see, the walkway is flush with the crosswalk. This is also very commonly used if you want the vehicles to slow down and yield to all pedestrians on the crosswalk. Another very beautiful use case, let's call it a Dutch use case, is right here. So this is a continuous sidewalk. As you can see, the lift of this sidewalk doesn't change and the vehicles need to go over this bump. And again, it gives the impression that the pedestrians, not just the impression, but actually it helps convey the message that the pedestrians have priority here. These textures will be of course editable, and we will also swap some of them for release, so these Dutch continuous sidewalks can look even better. Another very relevant feature are crossings between roads, tram lanes and railways. So when they are at the same level, it looks like this. Basically very simple and everything is flush. But what happens if you connect the railway that is a little bit higher than the road? So these are on-ramps and off-ramps that are automatically generated. So if you zoom in, you can see that it's a little higher than the road. Let me show you how it works when you're building it. So let's clear this and let's build a railway track like this. Let's take a lane right here. So as you can see, the ramp was automatically generated. Let's put another road here. Another one is added. And lastly, if we create this one. So let's regenerate this and let's change the lift of this railway. Let's make it 0.5 meter on the right and also 0.5 meter on the left. Now when you look at this, you can obviously see that the ramp is much higher. Also obviously, what I've forgotten to show you is this is how you actually change the lift of the road. So not only you can change the width, but right above it there's an input field for lift. And when we look over here, the railway crossing ramps also work when the railway is tilted. And finally, let's move over here and let's take a look how we can build surfaces with different lifts manually. So let's open this intersection and here we can see unconnected lanes. So first of all, let's select the lane and let's build it like this. And this is a linear change, so as you can see it's very direct, but here's a button that will allow us to smooth step this. So let's build something smooth on the other side. And now as you can see, it's much more gradual. When we open the road markings and try to place them here, you can see that they are affected by the lift on the other side as well. Lastly, let me show you how easy it is to build these raised surfaces. So you can change the height with page up and page down. And it can also apply to curves like this. Beautiful. And also, as you might noticed, since we added these lifts, we also had to add 3D renderings to all sides for these surfaces. That also applies to fillers. So let's fill, for example, this. As you can see, all sides are rendered. And you can also manually change the height. For example, let's make it 2 meters and place it here. And we have a giant concrete block. And one more thing related to the surface lift. So as you can see here, this sidewalk is a little bit higher than the terrain. This is going to be changed in the future. And these sidewalks are going to be flush with the terrain. And these lanes are going to be sunken a little bit. This is already reflected in the configuration tool. As you can see, walkway is at 0 and the lane is at minus 0.1. And a little preview of what's to come in the next development progress videos. All these surfaces that you see or you have seen in the video are going to be modular, thanks to which stuff like this is going to be possible. So here we have a tram lane that's going up and the railway that's going from left to right. And inside this intersection, you can see that the trams can connect on the same track as trains. And if we move a little bit over, we have the same thing here, but this is a much better layout, mostly because you don't have a train track running through the middle of the road. So I personally think this intersection looks awesome, but I'm sure that most of you could create something much better looking, much quicker than me. And here's the fun bit at the end. So this is a little unconventional rail crossing. There are some warning signs that you should not attempt to cross this. So these are the beautiful side effects of features like this. For sandbox games, when you add a feature, it might just allow you to build something that was never intended for the game. So this is vanilla, no mods, obviously, and no cheats, except one. But it's gonna be in the game, so I guess it's still vanilla. So let's see how the car manages to pass this crossing. Yeah, this looks like a great action shot. A little bit, almost. So the way this works, obviously there are no physics in the game, right? Once this vehicle lands, it's gonna be very smooth landing, like this. So the way it works, let me show you. If we open the intersection, here's obviously another path. And this is another feature that was added quite some time ago. And it's invisible surfaces. So the reason it was added was that if you wanted to simulate pedestrians jaywalking, you could add an invisible path going through any spot inside of the intersection. And it would appear as if the pedestrians were jaywalking. And by the way, I'm not going to rule out that one day we might add some localized physics just for the fun of it. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.